Hi there, it's Kalymnios from thethoughtgym.com and welcome to today's quick class, which is just going to be focused on the upper body, chest, shoulders, back, that area to open up that. So we're going to start in tabletop position to begin with, which means we want our knees underneath our hips and our hands, our wrists underneath our elbows, underneath our shoulders, and our knees underneath our hips. Looking down, hands about shoulder width apart, knees about hip width or just a little bit wider than hip width apart. As we inhale, draw the head forwards or gaze forwards, tilt the tailbone back, creating a dip or a little valley in the spine and rotating the elbow creases forward. As we exhale, bring the chin towards the chest, round through the spine, push the shoulder blades away from each other, look towards the navel. Inhale takes you forward, creating that valley, and exhale creates that hill. Okay, so it's valley and hill or a sine wave. Inhale forwards, and exhale back. Inhale forwards, and exhale back. Coming into neutral spine now. And from here we're going to do sort of like a push-up, but without actually bending the elbows. So from a neutral position here, we're going to sink the torso down, but the elbows haven't changed position, they haven't bent. And then we're going to push back into that rounding. So we come down and we push back up. We come down and we push back up. Come down and we push back up. Okay, the elbows are staying static the whole way through. Good. And then finishing off the last couple and staying static here. Good. From here, we're just going to roll through into child's pose. So bring the hands a little bit further out in front of you. Coming into a child's pose here. So sinking the hips back down towards the heels. And if you want, I like to put the heels of my hands sometimes on the ground and lift the fingertips as much as I can up. Good. And then from there, coming back into tabletop position. Rolling back. Inhale the right hand up towards the sky, taking a twist. Exhale, we're going to thread that right hand underneath the left, taking the shoulder all the way down towards the ground and the right temple towards the ground. From here, the motion is almost like trying to pull that right hand back out through, but it's being resisted by the yoga mat. So it's creating a little bit of tension there. And we're just going to take this, open up the shoulders a little bit here. Yeah. And releasing, inhale, arm up to the sky. Exhale back into tabletop position. Inhale, left hand up, twist. Exhale as you take the hand underneath, bringing the left temple down, and again holding that position, finding a stretch along that outer left shoulder. And then inhale, arms up, or left arm up. Exhale back into tabletop. One more time each side. Inhale, right hand. Exhale, thread the needle under, taking it all the way. Good. Now if you want, you can take this left hand, you can take it, wrap it round behind the back, grabbing hold of the right thigh. If you want to hold that, you can hold that. If you want to extend the left leg out a little bit and straighten the left leg, you can do that. Or you can even lift that left leg and have a little bit of a balance here as well. Keep that left leg active, engaged, foot engaged, demi-point. So pointing with the ball of your foot is what I have a preference for. But you can also point it or flex it, up to you. Okay, then bring the knee back down level to the right knee. Left hand back. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale back into our tabletop position. Left hand inhale. Exhale, thread it through. Nice and under here. Good. Again, hold this position. This is fine. Otherwise, you want to take the right hand up and over, thread it onto the right
or the left thigh. Okay, and then from here maybe you want to extend your right leg. Maybe you want to even lift the right leg and see what that feels like. It feels very different on this side to me than the other side. Again, right leg is active, then we point, foot flexed or pointed, and then lowering the right knee down, releasing the right hand, inhale, left hand up, and exhale back into our tabletop. From here, coming into puppy dog, opening up the front of the chest, creeping the hands forwards so the knees stay underneath the hips, okay, or the hips stay over the knees. Then we bring the chest down or the forehead down. You can have your hands flat, or you can do what I've got, like it's Spider-Man hands. I like to think of myself climbing up a wall like the superhero Spider-Man. And this one, so my fingers are raised as if I've got like a tennis ball underneath my hand. It's creating like a webbing. And then I'm pushing that chest down towards the mat. Good. And then coming back into tabletop position. Yeah. Now, if you need, I'm going to come a little bit further back on my mat because I'm going to need a little bit of space. Bringing the hands a little bit further in front of you than tabletop position, coming into child's pose, and then from here we're going to roll through into baby cobra. So elevating the hips, rolling through, bending the elbows, drawing the shoulder blades down and back, looking forwards. Exhale, tucking the chin, rolling back into child's pose. Okay, from here, coming forwards again once more, rolling through into our baby cobra. And exhale, tucking the chin, rolling back into child's pose. Inhaling, rolling through. And exhale, tucking the chin, rolling back. Good. And then rolling through, finding your way into tabletop position one more time. Good. From here, we're going to come into camel pose. So you may want to put some cushion in underneath your knees. I'm pointing over there because there's cushions over there. Or what I tend to do in classes usually is just fold them out a few times. So I've got a bit of support, maybe even a few more times if I want even more support. There you go. So it's a little bit more comfortable there. Have the toes tucked so the heels are a little bit higher for the first one, although we're going to have our support on our lower back here. So we're going to find our lower back support, so we're either going to have the fingers pointing down the body or up the body, depending on how flexible your wrists are, whether you want to do this or not. Sometimes it's okay for me to do it, but I don't feel like I get as much of the stretch that I want because I'm focusing too much on especially my right wrist, because it's the one that uses the mouse, I guess, and everything. It's a little bit stiffer. So I'm going to have it pointing down the body, thighs engaged, glutes engaged, feet hip width apart. Draw the elbows together, and as you do that, keep the hips pushing forwards. Imagine you're being pulled by a thread from the centre of your chest, and that's pulling you up towards the ceiling, but at the same time someone's got like a belt around your hips and they're pulling you forwards, and then there's someone else behind you who's got each of your elbows and they're trying to make your elbows touch, and at the same time you're leaning your head back, opening the front of your throat if you wish. Really stretching, opening up along the front, maybe even feeling it into the front of the thighs. Good. And then coming back to to neutral position, releasing, just shaking out everything a little bit, rolling through the shoulders and rotating from side to side. Good. Next one, we take it onto the heels, so hands onto the heels. So from here I would bring both hips back together slightly, or not even bringing the hips back much, till you find your footing, literally, and then pull. Imagine that person with the belt pulling you forwards as you bring your hips forwards, open up the front of your throat, chest is still being pulled up towards the sky. Good. And then maybe placing one hand on the lower back, next hand on the lower back, coming back to neutral. Third option here is to flatten the feet as much as possible. You may find that your hips will come back a little bit to find that position. Once they have found that, imagine you're being pulled forwards one more time by that person with the belt around your waist. Even better if you've got someone there who can actually put a belt around your waist, as long as you trust them, and support you that way. Again, holding on to the lower back or supporting your lower back if you wish with your hands, coming back together rather than one and the other. That twisting motion can be a bit jarring sometimes. So coming back together is the way I prefer to come into it. Slight twist maybe, and then you find the heels and then you pull forwards as much as you can comfortably do. Good. And then coming out of it, again supporting the lower back, coming back to neutral position here. From here, unravelling the mat if you've done what I've done. Good. Coming back into tabletop position. Let's just mobilise the spine. So push the floor away, round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale into our cow. Exhale into our cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Okay, so this next one you may wish, if you have a belt, a towel or a strap, to use it. Probably should have said that earlier, but many people don't. You don't really often need that. You can come to any comfortable cross-legged position, sitting on your heels, or even standing, in fact, for this one. In fact, it may be easier for me to demonstrate it standing, and then I can turn around. Holding the strap in one hand, taking it over the head, so the elbow is pointing towards the sky, grabbing hold of the strap with the other hand. Okay, so if you can, you're going to creep your fingers together. So think about opening up that shoulder, whatever shoulder it is you're doing. Okay. Keeping integrity in the pose. Now, for sometimes I can touch, I can even sometimes grab, but it's not about really that. It's just about finding your limit for that day. This left shoulder of mine is an old injury from snowboarding from years ago. It's never been the same since. So on this side, it's always so challenging to do any shoulder stuff. So I'm just going to be sometimes pulling up a little bit, sometimes creeping the hand down a little bit. I'm just going to be opening up the front of the chest here. Okay. Try not to push out super a lot, but just keep it level here. Good. And then to release, just slowly allow the hands to come through the belt and shake through or roll through, opening. Good. Next one, other hand, so whatever hand you didn't do, placing the strap in, again grabbing hold on the way down, finding a place that is comfortable. Then from there you can start to slowly creep it. So I have a completely different sensation, even though it's quite tough still on my right hand, but I can, this is without too much of a kind of shoulder warm up. touch, whereas before on the other one it's not as pleasant, and even now it's never been my most favourite pose, this one. In fact, this and back bends are the worst ones for me because my shoulders are so tight. My back is a little bit, but the back bend limitations I've got are mainly coming from the shoulders, and so I don't like doing them at all. But it's good for us to do things we don't like to do sometimes, as long as they're beneficial, not if they're not beneficial. Good. And releasing, coming out of that one. Again, rotating through the shoulders a little bit, open and close the chest. Swimming arms as well, just to start to get a little bit above the back into the shoulders. And forwards, 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 forwards. Good. Coming back onto the floor, onto tabletop position. Starting to just finish it off now. We're going to take one last shoulder opening here. Right hand stretched out, left knee bent, left hand underneath left shoulder, and then twisting and taking that left foot to the floor as you look towards the left, just opening up the front of the shoulder here. If you stay for any length of time here, it can be nice to put a pillow or a block underneath your head, but we're not going to be here that long. And then coming back to our starting position, taking the left hand out, right hand underneath the shoulder, bending the right knee, rolling onto the outer side of the left foot, bringing the right foot to the floor, looking and turning our body towards the right. And then coming back to centre, and then let's just rotate and turn over our backs here. Let's just come into Shavasana just for a moment, allowing the feet to flop open, palms up to the sky. Just take a quick moment here, allow the shoulders to settle, allow the hips to settle, allow the breath to settle, the mind to settle. Starting to wiggle the fingers and the toes, rotating the wrists and the ankles. Maybe taking a full body stretch, stretching the right side of your body out, stretching the left side of your body out, and bringing the knees in towards your chest, hugging yourself tightly, offering yourself a little bit of gratitude to yourself for taking a bit of time for your own practice today. And rolling over to your left or your right, whichever one you prefer, into the fetal position, maybe making a pillow with your hands. Before pushing yourself up to sitting, eyes closed on the mat. Any comfortable seated position that works for you. Bring your hands into prayer position in front of the heart centre. Raising your prayer towards your third eye, your forehead. We ask that we have the wisdom to watch our thoughts, lowering our prayer down towards our mouth or our throat chakra. We ask that we have the restraint to watch our words, especially when dealing with other people, but also the compassion to be mindful of our own internal dialogue. And then finally, lowering our hands towards our heart centre, we ask that we have the strength and courage to do whatever is right and necessary, even when it's not the most preferred or desired path. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing along with me for this little snippet of yoga, focusing really on the upper body and shoulders. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do connect with me on social media. The Thought Gym is where you'll find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And if you're interested in things like mindset, resilience, health, well-being, vitality, energy, definitely check out the YouTube channel where there's all of that sort of stuff and yoga videos. And go to thethoughtgym.com where you can find more of the same. Until next time, and I see you on the mat again. Namaste.